How long does a typical colonoscopy take? And then how long does a colonoscopy take of someone who has a tortuous colon?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, in general, I can typically get to the end, start in the rectum and get to the end or the beginning of the colon, like, within, I mean, I'm not racing as I go in because I want to be very gentle. If I get into any issues where I realize it's twisty and maybe the camera, the scope is looping on itself, I'll try to get through those areas. But if I find that I'm looping up, I just have the tech help me. We're all there as a team to
That's what they're there for.
exactly. We're there to take care of the patient together. So I have no problem asking the tech, hey, give me a little bit, can you give me a little bit of pressure? And the tech, if it's a really good tech, they can see and that you're struck that I'm struggling, they just go right around and start giving, they're like right there, ready to give me some pressure. So that might take maybe an extra minute or two. And then as I'm coming out, I am not known for my fastness. Okay. That is not, I'm known for just taking my time and just working my way out little by little. You have to be in there 6 minutes. I've worked with nurses, they're like, do you want to know how many minutes? I'm like, no, because I have never that that's never been an issue. I know I'm going to be in that colon
Way longer than
way
6
longer
minutes.
than 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So I would say on average, about 15, 20 minutes for a colonoscopy, unless I'm finding a lot of polyps, then 30 minutes. And
But once you're in and you kind of struggle getting into the tortuous colon, it's actually a little bit easier to come out.
oh yeah, once I'm coming out, yeah, absolutely. Once she's done initial push going in, where it's
Mhm.
more the struggle. And then once I'm coming out, if somebody has really twisty colon, even when you're coming out, sometimes as you're coming out, you'll like zip out of an area. And then sometimes you have to go back in that area to make sure you got a good look at everything. Yeah,
Is the twist kind of pushed?
exactly. Exactly. But it's usually going in
Mhm.
where it's the struggle. But once you get to the end, then as
Mhm.
you're coming out,
Mhm.
just looking at all the
Do you ever use air in those situations or CO2? Like
CO2, yeah, is what
we use to kind of open up the area or not really? And
well, as you're going in, it's a combination of putting CO2 in to
Mhm.
open it up so you can see where you're going and then kind of getting CO2 out of there. Because sometimes if you overinflate the colon, it actually makes it more challenging to push the camera through. So it's a combination, it's a constant. As I'm going, I'm putting some CO2 in, I'm pushing, I may pull the scope back if I'm looped delicate and like a concert of different things that I'm doing to get the camera through.